here we are, the Jet Import house. It's getting late. The French are gone right now, but we snuck in here. We put the boat in the living room, and we're gonna finish up the trick tips portion of the DVD. Blowsion Trick Tips DVD, is this what we're doing?
Yeah.
Blowsion Trick Tips DVD. That is a gay name. Blowsion. What is Blowsion? What does that even mean? The French guys should be out till about 3:30 or 4. So it's 10 o'clock now. That gives us, what, 6 hours to go ahead and get this shot. So we're gonna do our best to fit in all the trick tips now and get out of here before they roll. Blowsion has decided to allow us to teach you everything we know about riding water scooters in the summer. We're going to teach you how to prep your boat, teach you how to prep your body, and then we're going to teach you how to do everything that I know how to do, and we're going to have the best riders in the world telling you how they do all their signature tricks. So let's get started. We're going to talk about boat setup, and you're going to love it. Okay, so here we are in the composite shop. We're going to have Andrew and Matt kind of walk us through a little bit of reinforcement on the Superjet. It's really important if you're riding with the stock hull to reinforce it, because if you ride it in the surf, trying barrel rolls, backflips, you're going to break your boat. So either you reinforce it or you fix it after it's broken. Now, these guys are the experts. So what do we do to prep the hull for reinforcement? What do we use to reinforce the hull with? How do we do it?
Grind it out, grind the ribs on a 96 to 2007, you'll grind the ribs out.
We usually use 36 grit sandpaper.
Okay.
Gives it a nice scuff, a nice surface for the fiberglass and the epoxy to adhere to.
Right. Okay. So if you don't prep it, the glass is just going to peel off, right? Like it won't stick.
It may not do it immediately, but it'll eventually start to separate, especially if you get water behind it.
Now this boat is reinforced with carbon fiber. Why is it just carbon fiber? Do you have fiberglass underneath this, or what's the process? What do you normally use to reinforce?
We use a biaxial 17-ounce heavy fiberglass, stitched fiberglass.
And this comes in a kit, right?
Yes.
It's the hull reinforcement panel kit.
We just use a 1-to-1 epoxy resin.
Okay.
You can purchase it from Blowsion. I'll fiber lay. I'll put that plug in there. They make some great marine products in the industry.
Okay, cool. And instructions are all in the package. Boom, simple. Mix it up, slap it on. Bang, bang, boom.
You got it.
All
One
right.
side at a time. We usually do the nose first, and then the sides. That's how we like to do it. Under the handle pull area as well.
Yeah, super important to get the handle pull bracket area reinforced. I tend to like to ride my super scooters into the sand, so it's important that I have a lot of reinforcement in the nozzle area, otherwise that breaks on you. I have my beautiful 96 Superjet at home. I'm ready to put the footholds in it, go upside down with it. What do I need to do?
You need epoxy, you need our footwell install repair kit. It comes with cups, brushes,
Everything you need?
17-ounce fiberglass to install them with, and very detailed instructions. So you don't have to call us at the shop.
And it's a pretty daunting task for someone who's never really done fiberglass work before to get out there and just hack away and cut at their ski.
Yeah, they're scared a lot of times.
But you got good instructions. It's not really that hard to do. As retarded as I am, I've done it a lot, not as much as these guys. So now fortunately these guys do it for me. It's not a very difficult process. Dig in there, get it done, and plenty of support, plenty of instructions. Have yourself some footholds.
If you're planning on installing foot wells, one-way valve reinforcing your boat, do it when your boat's naked. You're going to save yourself hours and hours and hours of time. So do it all at once. Lot to spend, get it all done in one shot, but it's going to save you a lot of headache in the long run.
Yeah, and when you pull everything out, just buy some toast, buy some plastic bags, put everything together. You know, you think that you're going to have it all there in the pile in the corner on the floor, and you don't. So take everything out at once, put it all in little neat bags, Blowsionize it, make it pretty inside, and then put it all back together and go riding. Yeah. Now, the next thing we're going to do is talk about the one-way valve. The one-way valve is super important because we wind up getting a lot of water in the hull. And bilge pumps are really good to have, but they don't get the water out fast enough. If you have a good one-way valve in there, the water flows right out basically as soon as it comes in. So, Matt, do you have any tips for installing the one-way valve?
Well, like Andrew said, make sure your boat is completely empty. If you don't get the opportunity to install a one-way valve when you're doing, your whole boat, you can pull a pipe on a superjet, and you're usually able to get enough room to drill the hole inside. We got detailed instructions with all the measurements of where to cut your hole in the inside and on the back of the chine. And just if you follow all our directions that we have in here, you should have a successful install.
You said pull the pipe, no problem, right?
Yeah.
You can make it all happen. I was pretending to listen. I wasn't listening to anything.
Okay.
Okay.
Do I need to move, or can I just stand like this the whole time?
If you're kind of close here, maybe we'll have you.
I do want to get my gut out at some point while you guys are
yeah.
talking. So
We'll start talking about the hood and why it's important to have a hood, and then you can kind of pull back.
I'll step back, let you come in, and then I'll showcase my stuff.
Fantastic.
Yes, you and I are free.
Alright, a really critical part to building an indestructible hull is having a really solid hood. Blowsion has a couple of options as far as hood kits go. They got the JK hood, and we have an R Champion hood coming soon. So, would you like to show us a little bit about this JK hood kit?
Well, the idea of building these aftermarket hoods is it gives the rider a lower center of gravity, which obviously helps riding in the surf.
I already have a lower center of gravity. This gets my gravity even lower to the center.
In most cases, all our hoods are made out of fiberglass rather than SMC. That's an OEM hood, so it's going to be a stronger hood.
Yeah, with my hoods especially, I run them just extra heavy, and if if you want to build your boat indestructible, you can ask these guys to lay it up extra heavy for you, and they can do it. The guys here have done a lot of custom work to my boat.
Sorry.
Keep it together. Stop thinking. Stop thinking
No,
about
it
yourself.
was just me.
Stop thinking about yourself.
It's just what I'm going through.
The guys here at the shop have done a whole lot of custom work to my boat. Specifically, I think our pretty girl Andrew had a lot to do with the custom reinforcement on the inside that we're going to show you in a minute. Actually, maybe a good time to talk about the R Champion hood kit from Blowsion. We didn't let Andrew make this one. Matt made this one. Be good and strong. The guys in the shop did a lot of custom work on my boat, just to kind of make it bulletproof. One of the custom items they built on my boat was a raised, hood seal.
You got it.
Now you guys are gonna have a product that basically emulates what you did here, right?
You got it. This winter, hopefully, we'll develop a easy to install kit that comes with a gasket and a fiberglass loom that goes along inside.
Let's move forward to handle pole bracket area now. You guys built some custom parts here to move the handle pole bracket 2 inches farther forward. I like that. Seems like I have more control over the nose of the boat, just a little more pitch control. It's pretty fantastic. You guys are going to make a fantastic
Clamshell kit, that do-it-yourself kit.
do it yourself.
And coming to a jet ski shop near you, hopefully this summer.
Awesome. If someone wants to ship their haul here, you do it for them also.
You got it.
I mean, I don't want to step in on the Sirloin's territory, but you're looking good.
I know.
You got a good vibe going
I know.
over there.
I know I look good.
There's this place called Ripples in Long Beach. Maybe you should check it out.
Maybe I've been there already.
Maybe he's the poster boy.
Ripples. Oh my god.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Now we are here with Works team rider, Mr. Mark Gomez. How's it going? And we're going to talk a little bit about boat setup as far as handling modifications go. And I think one of the first things we got to talk about is one of the first modifications that guys do to their boats, which is shortening the handle pole. Mark also works at AC Racing, and AC makes aftermarket poles, and you guys will do varying lengths, right?
Varying lengths for different riders, different riding styles. Everybody has their purpose for different builds, different locations of the handle pull bracket.
Yeah. And what is important with the length of the handle pull is that, you know, different size guys like a different length pull. It just changes your kind of weight bias on the boat, you know. So real short pull gets you real far forward. Pretty much everybody goes a little bit shorter than the stock.
Yeah.
One important handling modification is changing the bars out. Stock bars, not only do they bend, but they kind of have a bend back in them.
Yeah,
and it's a little awkward.
Really awkward.
So I like running the riser bars. I feel like it puts the handle pull a little bit lower, kind of puts the center of gravity of the boat a little bit lower. And by running the riser bars, you get another degree of adjustability for length. So you can change your kind of forward and rear weight bias by rotating these bars.
For the riser bars, I don't personally run the riser bars because my body position, I get real low in my turns. It's all about how you ride your boat. With the handle pull length and your tubbies and how you need to get your body weight forward and how low the pull has to be. But that's also what's nice about these bars is you can have a shorter pull, you can run riser bars and taper them backwards, so it could probably work for your setup. It's just it's all personal preference. It's all personal preference, and what you need to do when you buy these products is you need to put time on it and experiment.
Riser bars are good for old men. We don't like to bend over too much. I'm getting old. My back hurts. You know, I'm happy. If my pull's gonna hit and bottom out on the hood and the pull pad a little bit earlier, it saves my back a little bit, and I like that. So now we'll move on to tubbies.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things we can talk about.
There's a lot of things about tubbies.
Tubby 1 was the original tubby.
Yeah.
Screw on for the Superjet specific. Tubby 2 had kind of a groove in it. It was more designed for
I
racing.
never really saw much of those.
Tubby 3 was the thin, narrow one for the SXR and the 08 Superjet. And then they came out with the Destroyer, which is easy bolt on, and now they have the new design on the Destroyer.
Probably the most amazing product on the market right now for free riders as far as buying your hull and being able to install tubbies that are outstanding because they mold the contour of your hull. You can bolt them on within 30 minutes to a half hour, moving just a few parts. They're just great.
There's a phenomenal trick to do. It's called loading the pump. And basically what you do when your buddies aren't looking and the boat's sitting there on the trailer, walk up behind the boat, you load the pump here with some kind of liquid of your choosing. My favorite thing to load the pump with is actually urine. Invariably your buddy's going to be standing behind the boat at some point in time. And what you're going to want to do is reach up and hit the start button. At the same time, give it a little amount of throttle. The loaded pump will then evacuate its contents all over your friend. I haven't loaded a pump in probably a year, so you're due. I'm gonna load your pump.
Ah, okay.
That sounded very gay.
Yeah.
That was very gay. Shall we move on to Works components?
I think we should.
All right.
I think Works Racing Components has some outstanding products. With limited amount they are, but they work really well.
Good Works intake grate. You have a lot of options, 201, 205, 228. You can get an intake grate that will suit your specific style of riding. There's also a variety of ride plates you can run. I like to run the Blowsion D-cut plate on my boats. I like the plate to be flush on the end and have a little D-cut. There's some guys that's like Mark was talking about earlier. Mark likes a little longer ride plate.
I had the tubby ones on a 04 Superjet hull and a D-cut ride plate. Now I couldn't ride it. The boat always felt really unstable. I always thought the tubbies would make a big difference. I shortened my handle pull to get my body weight forward to get the tubbies to work. Now what I ended up doing is I ended up finding an extended ride plate, and that made the ride a little bit better, because what it's doing is it's planting that ride plate you would think would cause the nose to dive, but what it actually does is it pushes the nose down, but it puts those tubbies in the water, so the tubbies are always plowing. So what you can do is you can just turn the boat over without having to put all your body weight forward, and you can just lean the boat over and turn the bars, and your boat will carve as if you're putting most of your body weight forward.
This is a new plate from Works that we've been testing. Not as aggressive a D-cut as the Blowsion plate, a little bit different pattern. Will help to kind of keep the nose of the boat down a little more. A lot of options out there, so but certainly swapping up the ride plate can just change the handling of your boat to suit your style. Yeah, yeah. All right, works. Works. It works. Now we're here with Liquid Militia Cold Fusion HydroTurf team rider Zach Bright to talk about boat prep. And the reason we have Zach is because Zach is probably the hardest guy in the world on equipment. So I can't think of anybody better to kind of walk us through a little bit of surf boat prep than Zach Bright. I think probably the first thing to talk about is one of the parts that is most commonly broken on freestyle freeride boats, and that is down at that end, which is a handle pole bracket. The bracket on this boat is a Blowsion billet aluminum bracket, and this one's lowered, it moves the handle pole forward and lowers it a little bit. Cold Fusion also makes a billet bracket, and this is just a really important piece because that's a place where when you're doing barrel rolls and things like that, you put a whole lot of stress on it, and the stock aluminum ones break. What's this thing here? What's this whole deal here?
This looks like a little stronger pole, a little longer.
Yeah.
Stronger and longer.
Stronger for longer.
Yeah.
Go fast. Stronger for longer. This is actually a UMI Racing aluminum handle pole. I've been running UMI poles for a long time. Good luck with them. You can also reinforce a stock pole. And just running your stock pole pretty quickly, it's going to break. You know, but there's some other good options out there. Rick Roy makes a good pole. AC Racing makes a good pole. But it's one of the first modifications you're going to want to do to surf-proof your boat. So to move farther back, I like the Blowsion chin pad. There are a lot of other pads out there that just kind of cover the steering. You want to make sure this is all covered because you will break your face on it. But I like having a little bit of padding here. I take headers into the poles from time to time, and it's good to have a little pad on there.
Yeah.
He doesn't have much padding on here, so he grows it down there.
Yeah.
This is where all his padding is. Man, that's like
serious.
That's like some indoor-outdoor carpet there.
It's rough.
I think something bit me.
Yeah.
We run Aftermarket steering system. Cold Fusion makes a good system. I run the Blowsion steering system. It's a captured bearing, just makes steering nice and smooth. Lasts well on surf. Pack a lot of grease in there when you put it together. Handlebars, stock bars, stock turn plates, and things like that. I guess I've never broken a stock turn plate, but I've certainly bent a lot of stock bars. Primarily, our goal is not to break stuff, right?
Yeah. Well, and you change the steering as well to bring it closer to the pole to shorten it up and get your body above. Center your weight.
Another really important piece for surf riding is the limiter rope. Huge. Yeah, this is a big deal because when you hyperextend your pole, especially if you're running a stock pole, this is a really, really important modification because you want to keep from putting stress on the stock pole as much as possible. So, but even with aftermarket pole, billet brackets, stuff like that. Remember a couple years ago, Mr. Mike Serlin finally got his water scooter all dialed in, running great, gave it to his good buddy Eddie to ride it. Eddie promptly looped it out. Mike had no limiter rope on there, and he ripped the whole handle pole bracket and everything straight out of the hole. So,
Don't want to hyperextend your pole.
no, you don't. And when you're in the surf, if you're trying to backflip, you're throwing stuff away, you want to make sure the pole doesn't overextend, because then you're just stressing the whole area where the handle pole bracket mounts, and it's not a good thing. I like having my hood stay on the boat.
Yeah, it keeps you driving.
Yes, sir. It does, and it's nice. The boat runs a lot better with the hood on it.
Good.
Mr. Jerry Jones famously did a big barrel roll, landed on his side. He just had one strap that was holding the hood down. The strap popped off, it broke, lost the hood. Didn't lose the boat, didn't sink the boat, but the hood went to the bottom. So to prevent that, we run these very fancy and wonderful hood straps. And whether you run a regular latch, I run the brap strap ratchet system to keep the hood on, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But regardless of what you run, it's always good to have a secondary kind of safety.
Yeah, the more you can do to keep your hood on your skis,
it's good. It's good. And definitely running the stock latches and things like that, if you have a set of hood straps on it, it'll save you. I mean, I don't know how many times your stock or your latch has popped open. Popped mine open a lot.
It's happened before.
Yeah. I think maybe we're ready to delve inside.
I think
So do you want to go inside?
Yeah, I want to see what you got, what goodies you got in here.
Into the belly of the beast?
Yeah.
So back to surf prep. We want to make, where does this go? Surf prep. You want to make sure everything inside the boat is tight, hose clamps are good. So since Mr. Zach Wright is our official Cold Fusion representative here this weekend, we're going to let Zach talk about some of the beautiful Cold Fusion boat products we're running. So let's talk about the battery box, because Carl makes a really cool battery box. You have an option. It's kind of a cage. You can run like almost like a motor keeper style retainer over the top of the battery. So you run straps on it, you run the keeper over the top, and you're just not going to knock out the battery. Blowsion makes a really good battery box also. It's a more of a price point box that works well for you. Your plastic stock box is going to blow out. It's one of those things you're going to have to replace. As we move farther back, Cold Fusion billet couplers are really, really high quality, super tight tolerance, and the urethane bushing they have in there, you're not going to tear it up. Aftermarket's certainly better than stock. Your stock coupler, when the motor shifts forward, you know, if you hit the bottom, which, how many times have you hit the bottom yesterday?
About 3 times already.
Yeah. So when the motor shifts forward and moves around, moves on hard landings, couplers can kind of misalign, and the stock couplers will grenade out the box, things like that. So to prevent that, we also run Blowsion's Kenny keepers. That really stops the forward movement of the motor. It's one of the really kind of necessary surf products.
Very necessary. The couplers, they're fully billet. They're Kawasaki diameter, so you go from a Yamaha coupler, it's about yay big, to a Kawasaki style, it's about yay big.
And they're drilled too.
They're drilled out as well.
Yeah.
They're very, very light. So what you're doing is you're lessening your internal rotating mass, so you're really going to pick up a lot of throttle response with that product. And it's not going to break. I mean, even if something happens where you blow all your motor mounts and the thing flies off, you're not going to break your couplers, which in, being traveling and being in different countries, it can be hard to try and get something like that. So
and it also keeps you from just grenading a lot of stuff in the box. You know,
it's durable.
Yeah.
It's gonna stay around. You're not gonna break it. So a lot of gains.
Are you giving this part a lifetime warranty?
I'd say so. It's going through its paces with me, and it's holding up. So
Lifetime warranty from Mr. Zach Wright.
yeah, that's it.
Next up, we're going to talk a little bit about physical preparation, a little bit about health and fitness and nutrition. And we got Tanner Thomas rolling in from Alaska. And we got Mark Gomez, who right now is right up my butt.
I want to kick you out of here!
Gave my love a cherry Gave my love a record that had no.
The training really comes, the majority I would say has to come from the water, because it's really hard to find. When I stay here for a long weekend and you're riding hard and just pushing yourself to the max, and you come home the next day and you feel muscles tweaking and burning that you've never felt before, you can't really emulate that in a weight room or going for a run.
Faster! Faster, you're not gonna catch that wave! Snow crab walk faster than you! You just gonna let that wave beat you? Come on! Polar bears run faster than you! Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on! Push, 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 push! Come on, come on, come on, come on, go, 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 go!
It's really got to be, the majority has got to be on the water. You just really got to dedicate time to practice and taking those hard impacts and just feeling and learning how to compensate to where you're not hurting yourself. And it all takes time and practice.
For freeride, just for freeride, you just can get not push real hard because it's kind of category. You don't need too much resistance So just if you got some runs in the week, it's good. But I'm freerider and racer, so the race is very, very hard to do. And I like to run 3 times per week, like 45 minutes in a good run. I go to the gym all the week. I get boxing, and yeah, I think it's this kind of this, and go practice 3 times per week, maybe 2, 4, depends.
Okay, so Mark, now that you've really broken down your muscles, we need to build it back up with some good protein. Best way to do that's going to be with some eggs, first of all. And to finish it off, what's really going to help you build back up is going to be a little bit of your base protein. Voila, slam it down. Perfect.
Alright guys, at this point we're just about ready to get in the water. You got your boat prepped, you got your body prepped. The last thing we need to do is talk about some safety equipment and some gear. So, you know, we've kind of made light of a lot of things and you know, made some jokes and stuff going through here. One thing that's super important is just safety and the safety items we're going to talk about. For me, probably the most important safety item is actually the hydroturf that we use on the boat. Hydroturf is important for a number of reasons, and for me, the most important aspect of the hydroturf is the padding you can run underneath. I run a 25mm foam pad underneath my whole tray. And it saves your back, it saves your knees, but primarily what it does is it saves your heels on big flat impacts. There have been a number of pro riders who have broken heels, and that is a really terribly difficult injury to come back from. It's one that should be avoided at all costs. And running the 25mm pad from hydroturf will go a long way towards preventing that. In addition to that, hydroturf will give you a lot more traction than your stock mats, and that's really important for us when we're, you know, upside down or just riding. I mean, to be locked into the boat is really important. I think you'll see a lot of the variations and tricks that we do. We have a leg off or an arm off, and the only thing really holding me in the boat is my foot in this foothold. And you can see I don't run a full enclosure because the full enclosures are, I feel, there's too much risk of breaking ankles and getting your foot trapped in there. So we also run hydroturf along the rails. The hydroturf is it's just a little softer than having a bare rail there. Our friend Jerry Jones will tell you that you hit a bare rail, it'll definitely split your leg open. And with a little hydroturf on there, you know, the boat can kind of bang around at the ramp, doesn't hurt it. You can bang it around the truck, it doesn't hurt it. It'll also save your body if you hit it. One final area where hydroturf is important, hydroturf padding. I pad the top of my rails. These aren't fun to hit. I've hit them a lot, and a little padding on there goes a long way towards keeping you injury-free. Injury-free for you and me, that's the way we all want to be. I wear ASICS wrestling shoes. They grip well on the tray, you have good feel. You can also swim in them. There's several schools of thought when it comes to shoes. There's some guys that like to run thick running shoes. You have great padding in those, but it's harder to swim in. There are guys that like to ride barefoot, really easy to swim, you get really good feel on the boat, but then the tray padding's really critical at that point. So for me, the ASICS wrestling shoe is kind of a good intermediary. You get good grip, and you can still kind of swim in them. When we talk about safety and safety gear, there are really 2 schools of thought there. Guys like Pierre will wear a back brace, he wears shin protection. From time to time he'll wear a neck brace. For me, I don't wear that stuff because I feel like it's more important to be able to swim well. I wear less protective gear, which helps me swim. Some guys think it's more important to wear more protective gear and you know, rely on a life vest to float you in. We would of course recommend a good Coast Guard approved vest. If you do happen to find yourself in a situation where you're unconscious in the water, a Coast Guard approved vest is going to float you. Another critical item of safety equipment is a helmet. And there are a couple options where it comes to helmets. Both the Bell and the Giro freeride helmets are sold through Blowsion. The Bell helmet will flow a little bit more water, it's a little lighter. The Giro provides a little more protection. Again, it's kind of personal preference there, whichever one you prefer, but if you're free riding, it's a really good idea to always wear a helmet.
Talking about today, wetsuits, gear, everything that you put on your body, help you stay warm, function real well out in the water. It all first and foremost comes down to where you ride, water conditions, just your comfort. You ride in Florida, probably really warm. You have your Jet Pilot board shorts. You can also, if most of the time when you're dragging your body and getting real aggressive in the water, board shorts tend to maybe drag, so most people like to wear a wetsuit. Now, all wetsuits don't have to be real thick. You have your 2 millimeter wetsuits, which are most racers use, really flexible, keep you pretty warm, but they don't really feel like a big burden on your body. It gets real cold out here in Oregon. You can run 3.2, 4.3s. This one right here is 4.3, really toasty, still pretty. They make them really nice, really stretchy. Gloves, you can get them from most people. Works Racing Components happens to make these gloves. They're really great.
Listen, we're gonna break it down right here real quick. Here's what you want to do. You want to look good. You got your pretty boat. You want to look good. Ooh, look at that. This matches. Damn. Well, camera's falling out. But this matches. This pretty. You gotta look good. It's all about look good. Mark Gomez looks good. Look at him. He's looking good. This is the gear Mark Gomez wears. Good functional gear that looks good. Keep you safe, keep you happy, keep you healthy. All right, let's go.